Greetings, friend, and welcome to the Park Hopper Daily Interviews. This is show number 13 for Monday, May 17th, 2021. And on today's episode, we are hopping our way through the best quick service options at Disney resorts. From decadent to disappointing, drool-worthy to droll. Take a dining detour through Disney with your hosts Kathryn and Anita Boyer, discussing every delectable detail and possibly overdoing the alliteration. This week on the Park Hopper Daily Interviews.
Hey, welcome back to Park Hopper Daily. I am Kathryn here with my partner in Disney crime, Anita Boyer.
Hello!
Today we wanted to talk a little bit about quick service. We've been working our way through the parks. It's been a lot of fun, but now we need to get to the brass tacks, the quick service at the resorts where, as most Disney fans know, most of the best food is found.
Yeah.
So Anita, what is your top quick service location at a resort at Walt Disney World in Florida?
I am going to skip my actual number one because I talk about it all the time and I feel like anyone who listens is just screaming at their phone. And by that, I mean Joe, because he might be the only one who listens so far, but more people will listen. But if you've caught up on all the episodes, you're like, she's going to say Primo Piatto breakfast. But no, I am going over to the Grand Floridian because that is my other favorite place to get breakfast, especially when we're staying like at the Polynesian or at the Grand Floridian. I love going to the Gasparilla Island Grill and getting there nice and early. They have tables out on the water, a direct sight line to the castle. Like you can literally like sip your coffee and have your eggs and your Mickey waffles and your bacon and just be staring longingly at the castle. And then super easy to just get on the Grand Floridian walkway and be at Magic Kingdom in a couple of seconds. It's like one of the most painless Magic Kingdom mornings that I can envision. And that's where I'm going first.
That's awesome. I would hop over to the nearby Polynesian for Captain Cook's. And now I have not done breakfast there, although I appreciate that you can get Tonga toast there for a much more affordable price without the strawberry sauce.
Yeah.
You can find it at Kona Cafe. But Captain Cook's is like my go-to lunch when I don't have a reservation in Magic Kingdom. I'm in Magic Kingdom. I'm not looking for a table service experience. I just want to get some quick service food. I head over to Captain Cook's. I love their pulled pork sandwich. The Thai meatballs are to die for. And they have a whole line of chicken wings that you can get different sauces for. It's just got like this really fun island vibe. And if you are still nervous about being indoors, they have plenty of outdoor seating.
Yeah.
And then of course you can always just jump over to Pineapple and I afterwards for a little Dole Whip for dessert.
Yeah,
so.
I can see that being Ella's favorite lunch spot as well. The promise of Dole Whip. Okay, I'll eat whatever you order for me.
She has Dole Whip problems, my 12-year-old.
And that's why we are kindred spirits.
That's correct.
I love it. And the other fun thing is, while Trader Sam's is not yet open, the Tambu Lounge upstairs in the Polynesian is open. So you can also, that's one of the quick service locations where it's kind of easy to pop in and grab an adult beverage if that's what you desire. And then, bring that and have your lunch. And there are some views of the castle as well. So you kind of get that magic, but also you can kind of hide from the whole Disney thing and escape into a full-on Hawaiian tropical getaway with the sounds and the flames and the waterfalls and the plants. And yeah, that's a great choice as well. I'm kind of mad that I didn't say that.
I'm really dying to stay at the Polynesian. I've never stayed there before, and it's very quickly moved up the top of my bucket list of Disney resorts. So I think I'm going to need to make that a priority in 2022.
My favorite. For those listening on the podcast, I'm showing off my Polynesian tattoo on my leg. I've got Maui and some hibiscus flowers and some plumerias created by Adam Frank of Fine Line Willie Tattoo. Shout outs to Adam.
I believe actually that tattoo will be featured in my next Express magazine. If you live on the east end of Long Island, yes. I'm the owner of the Express News Group, which is 27 East, the Southampton Press, the East Hampton Press, the Sag Harbor Express, and Express Magazine. And we have our summer book coming out in a couple of weeks. And Ms. Boyer is featured in a piece Michelle Troring did about tattoos. So super fun.
Yeah. So on top of Park Hopper Daily, you also do all like your legit news. You're real live actual news person, and that's why Park Hopper Daily is so legit, despite my constant editorializing on the newscast.
I love your editorializing on the newscast. And, this is the fun news I get to do. This is my favorite kind of news these days. Okay, so unseguing, as Anita and I tend to do, another quick service place that I really love to go to is Disney's Wilderness Lodge, and you've got a few locations there. Is Geyser Point considered quick service? Or more of a lounge?
I would consider it a lounge, but these days, like post pandemic or like mid pandemic, the lounges that are open feel a little quick servicey, as in like they're accessible. So I'll throw it in. That's a good.
I just think the location. I think the location of Geyser Point, it's kind of like what you were just saying about the Polynesian, how you can kind of escape Disney if you choose to, and feel like you are in this outdoor open air bar with amazing food. They have a great bison burger. They have really fun cupcakes. They usually have this s'mores cupcake on the menu that's really fun. Yeah. But the food there is really good, and you just kind of feel like you're in the middle of like the Pacific Northwest, which is, what was intended for Wilderness Lodge.
Like, how do they do that? Because you could, I don't think there's a boat that connects them, but the water connects them. Like, how did they do that? Where you can be at the Polynesian just across the water and be in Hawaii, and then you can travel for like 20 minutes via a couple of boats, and then be like in the northern part of California. Like, it's amazing how they really use their plants, the sight lines, like every piece of furniture, every fixture, like it. And we're talking about, these are the details that go into their quick service. Like, that's why we loved it. That's why we're doing this right now. Also in that vicinity over at the campsites at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort, I was recently introduced to P&J's Southern Takeout. And this is where you can get some of those meals that you might be missing from like Hoop-de-Doo Review. And we went there, Joe and I went there with some of our friends, Ed and Terry and John, while we were in Disney for our epic honeymoon. And it was amazing to be able to sit outside and feel like we were camping and eating fried chicken and barbecue ribs. And they also, it's not on the menu right now, I'm like checking the menu. They had a special, like a holiday sandwich that was basically like Thanksgiving on a bun, complete with like stuffing and cranberry sauce and turkey, and it was really good. It reminded me of that episode of Friends where someone steals his sandwich and he loses it. I'm like, if I knew that this sandwich was in my future and I realized that a coworker like ate it, I would have the same reaction. So Ross, I get it.
We feel you. I've always wanted to try that. I haven't had a chance to go to Hoop-de-Doo Review. Yeah, see, that looks awesome. We were just looking at a picture of it. I've always wanted to go to Hoop-de-Doo Review. I did hear rumor that the cast has been called back to Hoop-de-Doo Review. And
the Festival of the Lion King opening up this week. I think it's really promising. Now, the Festival of the Lion King has a much larger space, and it's not like a dining experience as well as a show. So that has me a little nervous for Hoop-de-Doo Review. But I wonder, I heard that rumor too, that cast for Hoop-de-Doo got called back. Maybe they'll separate the entertainment and the dining a little bit more. I think that would be much safer than the kind of the cast like floating around and trying to sing
while people are eating. You know, it's interesting. They have that that site over there, and I know that it was maybe potentially going to be incorporated into Reflections, that DVC resort near Fort Wilderness. That it appears that that's been shelved for now. That they won't be building that, but they had that open air place where you could go and do the movies outdoors and s'mores, and they had music and bleachers. You know, I wonder if there isn't, obviously in a seasonal capacity, since it's hotter than the surface of the sun 6 months of the year.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they couldn't find a way to do some sort of outdoor performance.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Bring
the cast of the Hoop-Dee-Doo Review to the American Adventure Pavilion, the America in Epcot. Grab your barbecue at Regal Eagle, and then, you know, kind of recreate your own little Hoop-Dee-Doo Review. That would be so much fun.
You just solved everything. I mean,
right?
Yes.
Right? You're welcome, Disney.
Yes.
You're welcome, Disney. I got you. All right, let me go back to my list. What is your next quick service at a resort that you just love?
So the next quick service at a resort that I love for breakfast is Primo Piatto at, I can't believe I'm just blanking on this, on the Riviera Resort, where I just actually experienced a vacation earlier this year. And I really loved it for breakfast. They have an eggs and polenta dish that's just to die for. You can get specialty coffees. They have the lemon blueberry pancakes that are delicious.
They have a banana bread that has like chocolate chunks in it that Joe and I split for like a breakfast snack one morning, and it was like, I had no expectations. It's a little loaf of banana bread. It was cute as hell, but I was like, it's banana bread. And then we're eating it and we're both just like screaming like, what? It was like the Gideons of banana bread. It truly, like, I'd wait in line for that.
Really good banana bread. They also have really good, they had a cinnamon roll there that was excellent. You know, I mean, it's not a traditional cinnamon roll that you would find at Starbucks. It's got a little bit more moisture going on. It's a little smaller. They also had little madeleines, which are like the little French lemon cakes, really keeping to the theme of Riviera. And then you have your Mickey waffles that are everywhere. I will say this though, Primo Piatto was great for breakfast, and I love their seasoned like Romano cheese fries that they offer with their lunch menu. Their lunch menu and their dinner menu, we kind of were a little meh on. It just felt like some of the food just felt like very pre-made, like it wasn't something that was freshly made for you when you placed your mobile order. It was something that was potentially like sitting back there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, and so that was a little disappointing after having such a great experience with breakfast. So I'd love to see them. Look, COVID times are tough. But I would love to see
they do such an epic breakfast. Like, you'd think they would at least have one option for lunch that felt like, because I mean, even the breakfast, with the polenta and the scrambled eggs, there's, I don't know what anything is, but there was green on it. There was like sauteed vegetables. It looked like peppers and onions. I know what an onion is. There was like a brioche bun. Like, come on, for breakfast? But now I'm wondering, is it because they're on the Skyliner and so it's the most convenient to get to like Epcot and Hollywood Studios, and those kind of open later? Is everyone at the parks for lunch and dinner? Do they like go big for breakfast because they know at that resort everyone's going to be like eating around the world in Epcot?
Maybe. And look, like, I don't want to put it down too much. Like, we had a perfectly palatable, not hockey puck Disney burger, like, sitting by the pool. My husband and I split that one day, and it was good. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't excellent. Do you know what I mean? And when you're at a resort like Riviera, I think you do just kind of like have a little bit of that expectation. And I felt like it's like the Italian sandwich again, like it just had a very pre-made feel to it. So that would just be my only criticism. I did hear really good things about this roast chicken dinner that I did not get to try. So, I'm sure there are things that I missed there. I'm not hating on you, Primo Piatto. I'm just saying so far breakfast has been the winner for us there.
That makes sense. I have not been to the Pop Century quick service. I'm trying to find what everything pop shopping and dining. I mean, I've walked through, I've seen it, but I've never eaten anything there. But that is one that I have heard so many great reviews about. Like, I have friends who will literally just like go to Pop Century. I mean, they're local. This is not something they do like when they're on vacation there, but they are local and they will go to Pop Century for lunch. And they're local. They have annual passes. They're cast members. They could go to Epcot for lunch, but they're going to Pop Century for lunch sometimes because it's so good. So that's something that's on my list to try. And hopefully this is not an issue going forward with the increased capacity. I do know that over like the end of April, beginning of May, a lot of the Easter break, spring break times, you weren't allowed to go to a resort quick service unless you were staying at that resort. So that is something just maybe for the next several months to like keep in mind, like while things are still reduced capacity. Usually like in a normal, the most usual situation is if you are wanting to spend money at Disney, they'll let you. And you can eat everywhere, you can try everything. Like when we were there in November, December, like we literally spent days just going to different resorts and checking out their shops and trying the food and just hanging out. But there were some times this year that you were not allowed to do that, which is weird.
I think right now, from what I understand, you can, if you have a mobile order placed and you can show security that you've placed that mobile order, most resorts, with the exception of Riviera and the Contemporary, are allowing you in to collect that quick service. And I think the reason that is happening is because of the Skyliner, and maybe they are being restrictive at Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach, and Pop Century as well. I'm not sure. I haven't heard about them being restrictive with that. I know at the Contemporary, they really have cracked down because, I mean, for diehard Disney's, like that is what you would do. You'd Uber over to the Contemporary, maybe grab a coffee, something from the Contempo Cafe, and then you'd walk to Magic Kingdom so you could avoid the Ticket and Transportation Center. I mean, I know that's what we did all of the time. Yeah. And basically, I think that they've just totally shut that down. Which is a bummer, but so I have actually stayed at Pop Century. My daughter and I were there in September of 2019 for 5 nights for a girls trip. I really have to recommend this resort in general, especially if you're looking for a more affordable experience. The rooms are updated, clean. They've got that great Murphy bed situation happening, which was really fun. Very comfortable. The pool's really great. The theming's in your face. And we did like everything pop. It's a combination of merchandise and basically food court all in one location. What we liked about everything pop was you could get, of course, your Mickey waffles. They did omelets to order that were really good.
Ooh, yum.
And you could get like, hot chocolates and your coffees. You could also buy, it was one of the few resorts, you could buy a case of water. And now look, I appreciate, with climate change and everything, we all need to be avoiding the little plastic water bottles. But, when you're at Disney for an extended period of time, sometimes it's nice to be able to buy that case of water, just, recycle your plastic if you can. So yeah, we thought it was a good, serviceable, quick service location. And I've heard excellent things about Landscape of Flavors across the bridge at Art of Animation. Have you had a chance to eat there yet?
No, I haven't eaten it either.
I hear Landscape of Flavors is really something special, and something that is worth a little pilgrimage to. They have a lot of different menu items that, again, are supposed to kind of be like a landscape of flavors from around the world available to you. I know our good friend Carissa has stayed there a few times with her family, and they love that food court. So I haven't checked that out yet, but it's definitely on my list.
Excellent. I love it. So I think we've basically covered all of the really great ones. My personal least favorite quick service availability of any resort is at the boardwalk.
I mean, what quick service?
Exactly. And like, sure, there is the boardwalk, and there's like the pizza and the window, and there's the boardwalk bakery and the end. Like
Margarita Joe's.
yeah. And then like sometimes there's like the little snack, whatever. You can get pretzels and corn dogs and stuff like that. But whenever we've stayed at Boardwalk, we always head over to Beach Club, which seems like it has it's almost serving the need of the whole area. It's got so many options and so many really great like desserts, sandwiches, meals. They had a roast chicken thing, which was like, it was okay. But I feel like the sandwiches there were very solid. But Boardwalk, yeah. And they were the most obnoxious about needing to actually have your resort refillable mug with you. And I guess they get a lot of people just walking around like outside of Epcot, so they weren't just trying to like give people free drinks. But like I only drink seltzer, and we had bought, I don't know where it is, but we bought the like Star Wars like tumbler, and we were actually staying at the boardwalk, and I went from my hotel room down there, and they had been every other resort, and this was our honeymoon, so we had stayed at like 6 resorts already. They all said, you just take a photo of you with the mug. We'll see when it was taken. We'll see that, you have the mug, and we'll just give you, they're giving out like the cups. They weren't touching like your actual cups. And the guy was like, no, you can't. Go back up and get your cup. And I was like, but I just want seltzer. I just want carbonated water. Like, and he was like, okay, boardwalk, do better. Do better.
So around Crescent Lake, I would agree that is, again, there's just not really a quick service location. You have the Boardwalk Bakery, you have the pizza window. I'm not sure when that pizza window opens. We live in New York, so that pizza window's hours will be a mystery to me forever, because I'm just never going to get pizza there because it's just wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you live in other parts of the country, it's fine. But, we're from a home of really amazing pizza, and I can't eat that pizza. Yeah. I do love Margarita Joe's, but again, not a food location. And the bakery has a lot of fun things. One thing I've always wanted to try there is their egg sandwiches. Again, we are on the end of Long Island, so this is like home of the egg sandwich, but I have heard really good things about their egg sandwiches.
I haven't,
so it might be worth checking.
I could try that.
Also on Crescent Lake, I have had the opportunity to stay at the Yacht Club. And I have to say, number one, it's fast become one of my favorite resorts. It feels so clean, so peaceful. You have access to Stormalong Bay, but I actually like the theming of Yacht Club more than Beach Club. And then they also have the market at Ale and Compass. Ale and Compass is, of course, a table service restaurant at the Yacht Club, but their quick service is the market at Ale and Compass. And it's small, it's very boutique, but they have an amazing coffee bar where you can get any coffee you could possibly imagine. We got a really great egg and ham and cheddar cheese on a hot pretzel roll for breakfast one morning. That was delicious. Highly recommend that. They have like really good sandwiches, great breakfast options. They have real butter, which I will give this warning to people staying at value resorts. They do not have real butter for your Mickey waffles and, all of that. You're using like a margarine style butter, which no, thank you. So I would really recommend, like, if you're just looking for something low key, It was always really peaceful and quiet over there. Grabbing some quick service at the market at Yale and Compass, and then, going and sitting on one of those big open porches at Yacht and Beach Club and enjoying it is definitely a worthwhile experience.
That's awesome. I love it. So now I'm starving. So let's go to Disney and get some food.
I want to give just one quick shout out though.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to my husband about this morning. This was the place that I planned to go with my son for a mother-daughter or mother-son trip right before COVID hit. And so obviously we didn't get to go, and it remains closed, but I have heard just amazing things about the quick service locations at Port Orleans, French Quarter, and Riverside. You have the beignets are certainly a factor there, but they also have some New Orleans inspired menu items. So, you'll still get your run-of-the-mill quick service that's at pretty much every quick service in Disney, but they've got some special items that are apparently really good and worth checking out. So I cannot wait for those resorts to reopen. I said to my husband today, the minute that's announced, I'm booking a trip to Port Orleans.
Nice. I love it. And that trip will be a research trip with me, right?
With Anita.
Of course. That's a good point, because I'm really only talking about the places that are open. But at Animal Kingdom Lodge, like, they have great quick service. We've had great experience there. It's hard to speak to what it's going to be, because it seems like as things are opening back up, they're kind of opening up with a twist. So, or like maybe their kind of staples aren't going to be the same. Some of the more eclectic items seem to have fallen by the wayside at some of these quick service places, which is so sad. I love the eclectic items and anything that's like not a ham sandwich or a burger or a chicken tenders. No hate to any of those items. I love them all. But Animal Kingdom Lodge, I cannot remember what it was, but it was not anything there was like rice and beans and all kinds of
yes, it's an African stew. So I feel like I'm a totally awful delinquent Animal Kingdom Lodge lover that wasn't actually at the top of my list, because the Mara is amazing, and we have stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge as a family, and they have, I'm gonna forget what it's called, but traditional African stew with like rice and beans and peas, and maybe there's like ham in it.
Oh yeah, like little cubes, I feel like.
But you know what they also had there, and I am a total falafel snob. I make there it is, it's open, yay. I make an excellent falafel. I use the Moosewood Cookbook's falafel recipe with a lemon tahini. I've been making them with my mom since I was a kid, so I'm kind of a falafel snob. They have a awesome falafel at the Mara, or at least I don't know if they're serving it now, but they definitely did. It is
falafel platter.
It is so good. They have this garlic yogurt sauce that comes with the falafel platter that, like, if I could just like bring a tub of that home and have it in my fridge, I 100% would. It is such a great meal. We also had a tamarind pork sandwich there that was like next level good.
That is still on the menu. The stew is not. I knew it. I know.
Well,
but the falafels are there.
Good.
The tamarind barbecue pork sandwich is there. They've got some flatbreads, some burgers, a roasted half chicken with sweet corn succotash, roasted potatoes. So they still have some cool options. And of course, you can get the zebra domes that are one of my favorite Disney desserts that I have not had in so many years, because I forgot about them. And then I saw the word zebra dome, and now I'm like literally drooling out of my mouth.
We're gonna have to plan another research trip around Animal Kingdom, and I'm very excited to see that resort starting to reopen. We've heard that cast members that have worked at Jico and Boma have been called back. Whether they'll be at those restaurants and how those restaurants will operate, we'll see. But I would say, and I would make the argument that going resort to resort, and this could probably be its own podcast, like what resort has the best food overall, I would make the argument that Animal Kingdom Lodge takes the cake far and away with the Mara, Boma, Sanaa, Jiko. I mean, there's not a bad option at Animal Kingdom Lodge. I mean, you're really far away from everything, but at least if your trap's there, you're going to be eating good.
Yeah. We definitely should make that podcast, and I agree 100%. Best food on property right there.
Mic drop. Okay, well, we've been chatting for a while about this, so I think we will wrap it up. I'm sure there's stuff we've missed. So if we missed your favorite quick service, what is it? Why do you like it? What are your favorite dishes there? You know, I hope that if you are listening to this and you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, like this video, and definitely comment below. Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know what podcast you want to hear. And if you are listening to us on iTunes, if you could also give us a rating, it really helps us get out there to other people. 5 stars, please.
Yes.
Okay, I'm Kathryn.
I'm Anita.
And we are Park Hopper Daily. We will see you real soon.